Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Racha HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. What is a brother? This is a question asked by the beautiful brother Elder Uriah of Chicago. You can go to his channel at GMS Chicago on air live 2, I believe it is, to be edified. I know most of you already probably know that, but I thought I'd say it anyway. And we were asked this question because the Columbus camp, the Dayton camp, the Cleveland camp were all together yesterday, and Elder Uriah was there and just posed that question: what is a brother? So I went to ChatGPT and asked that same question, and I said simply, what is a brother? And ChatGPT's response was, a brother can mean a few related things depending on the context. 1, a family relationship. Brother is a male sibling, someone who shares one or both parents with you. This can include what they call a full brother, same mother and father, half brother, one shared parent, step brother connected through marriage or not by blood. It says the extended or symbolic meanings that people also use brother more loosely to describe close bond. But I'm not going to go all the way through all those listings because they say this thing, full brother here, same mother and father, half brother, one shared parent. All right. So I'm going to go to the scriptures for the answer to that question. And of course, the Elder Uriah did give us the answer, and it comes from the scripture. So I just wanted to bring that out. I'm going to first go to Genesis chapter 6, and I'm going to read verses 1 through 4. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. It says, the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, of which they chose. So the Israelites, before they were called Israelites, before Jacob wrestled with the angel and was given the surname of Israel, before that, we can see here in verse 2, it says, the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, of all which they chose. So we have two classifications of men right here being identified: the sons of the Most High, or sons of Yahweh, and the daughters of men. So you have the sons of Yahweh, and you have the sons of men, because that's who they took as, that's who the sons of Yahweh, or the Israelite men, took as wives, the daughters of men. Verse 3 says, and the Lord Yahweh said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. It says, and there were giants in those days, meaning that they were great men, great renowned men of great standing. These would be men of Israel, sons of men, or Salakia, the sons of the Most High. It says, and also after that, when the sons of the Most High came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. So you can see right here that with this bond that came through the two different classifications of men, that the offspring were the sons of the Most High, the sons of Yahweh, because it says it right here. So one parent doesn't necessarily make a sibling a half sibling. You come from the same father, it's your brother. Alright, we just read it right here in chapter 4, or verse 4 of Genesis chapter 6. I'm going to go let's see, where am I going to go? I'm going to go to I'm going to go to John, because see, we still need to identify this third classification of men. John chapter 8, and I'm going to drop down to verse 44. And it says, ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father will you do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So this is identifying yet a third classification of men. It says, your father, ye are the father of Salakia, ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father will you do. He was a murderer from the beginning. So we're gonna go back to the beginning. Back to Salakia. I'm gonna put this on the screen. We're going to go back to the book of beginnings, back to Genesis. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to look at back in John chapter 8, verse 44. I'm going to look at this this word devil. And it is G1228 in the Greek, diabolos, meaning prone to slander, slanderous. Says under biblical usage, metaphorically applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act the part of the devil, or to side with him. And under Strong's definition, it says a traducer, especially Satan, false accuser, devil, slanderer. So it says he was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. So this is describing this third classification of man. Going back to Genesis chapter 4. And I'm going to read a few verses from here. I'm going to start at 1 and see how far down I'll go. It says, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord Yahweh. So when it's saying Adam knew his wife Eve, that means that they had sex and conceived a child. Verse 2, and she again bare his brother Abel. So here's another child being produced. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground, an offering unto the Lord Yahweh. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering. All right, so the Lord didn't have respect unto Cain's offering, because Cain brought him fruits and vegetables instead of bringing a first of his flock. It says, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. So here we see Cain being angry. Verse 6, it says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is your countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Verse 8, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. So here you see Cain meeting this definition of a murderer, because this is what he did. He slew his brother. He murdered his brother. Verse 9, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? All right, so along with the murder, the Lord Yahweh asked him, where is his brother? And he says he doesn't know. All right, so there's another part of what we just read in John 8 and 44 about him being not only a murderer, but being a liar, a deceiver, as if he could deceive Yahweh. So he's got two of the, he's meeting two of the characteristics of the definition of the sons of the devil, or the sons of the wicked, which they're going to be known to be called. So we're seeing this third classification of man. All right. Verse 10, it says, and he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. All right. And we see that this blood is crying out unto Yahweh from the ground, all right, because he'd been slain. He had been murdered, all right, murdered without cause. You know, I'm gonna go to let's see. Just about I wanted to show about this blood that crieth out unto Yahweh. Let's see. I'm going to go to Revelation chapter, let me see, is it verse 5? Chapter 5. All right, and this is Revelation chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 11, because this is talking about the angels as they are up in heaven. It says, and I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels around about the throne, and the beast being the angels, the throne being where Yahweh resides. All right, so this is a vision that's being given to John on the island of Patmos. It says, and the beasts and the elders, Salakia says, and I'll start again. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. Verse 12 says, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that is slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and the strength and honor and glory and blessing. Let's see. That wasn't what I wanted. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Maybe it's in verse 3. No, it's not. Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 10, just to show how those who have been slain who have been made martyrs on the earth, how their souls cry out to avenge for the blood that had been spilled by the wicked on the earth. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 10, because indeed that is what Abel was. Abel was a martyr. He was the first martyr because his blood had been spilled. He was murdered by his brother. It's Revelation chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?" All right. So just to show you that the souls that are present with Yahweh cry out to him about their blood being spilled by the wicked, them being made martyrs. And Salakia, it took me a second to find that there, but since I'm here in Revelation chapter 6, I'm going to go up to verse 4, because we're seeing that spirit, that wicked spirit that was in Cain. All right. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. It says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." So we can see that there's a group of people, the wicked, a group of that third classification of men, which are the sons of the wicked. And what was given to him, it describes him first of all as being red. And it says, "And there went out another horse that was red." That horse represents the power that they had been given, all right, on the earth. All right. It says, "And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." So let's see where this spirit of Cain dwelt. I'm going to go back into to Genesis, back in the beginning, to see where this spirit, where it dwelled. And first of all, I'm going to show you who this red horse is, or who this red man is, what that spirit of Cain dwelled. I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25. It says, "And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau." So this is Rebekah giving birth to the twins that she had in her womb, one being Jacob, one being Esau. And it specifically describes Esau as being coming out red. All right, describing the type of red. It was like a hairy garment, a garment that would have been made out of red, that color red. All right, I'm just going to go over to staying in the same chapter, Genesis 27, because we see Esau being described as red. Genesis chapter 27, I'm going to go down to verse 38, because this is the blessing being given to both Jacob and Esau from their father Isaac. It says, verse 38, "And Esau said unto his father," this is after a blessing had already been given to Jacob. Esau asked his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Verse 39, "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling place shall be the fatness of the earth," meaning they would get all this people. His blessing is that this people would get all the fatness of the earth, meaning all the beautiful places, or the nice places that exist on the earth. It says, and of the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40, and by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass that when thou hast dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So really the point was at verse 39, showing you the blessing that Esau was given. All right, with it matching up with Revelation chapter 6, describing the power of this red horse. It's describing the progenitor of the red race, what we would call white people today, because they're described as red because their blood showeth through their skin, because they have no pigmentation. All right, and that power that they were given was the sword. Being described as the sword is the weapon, because you see that this race of people go about conquering, having bases all over the world, go about conquering to take territories, to take lands, lands that they would unalive the inhabitants on and take for themselves and name after themselves. All right. Verse 41 says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, or in his mind, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. All right, because Isaac was at the end of his life. His eyes were dimming, and he was beginning to die. That's why he was giving out these blessings, giving out what their inheritance would be. It says the days. Says I'll start again, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherein his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So you can see the hatred that's in his mind. He's gonna wait just long enough until he gets the opportunity to slay his brother. So you can see that's that same spirit that was in Cain has been given to Esau. Esau was born with this. So not only does he has the physical description, but he also has the same spirit of the wicked. So we're beginning to see these three classifications of men. All right, the sons of Yahweh, the sons of men, which are the other heathen, and the sons of the wicked, which would be Esau. All right, because he would be the progenitor or the father of this so-called white race, this red people. All right, I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 28. Read verse 1. It says, and Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. So specifically Isaac's telling them not to take wives of the daughters of Canaan. All right. I'm going to drop down to verse 6. It says, when Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padanaram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Again, telling him not to take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Verse 7, it says, and that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Padanaram. Verse 8, and Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abram's son, and the sister of Nabojah, to be his wife. So you can see the disobedience and in Esau. All right, we can see he has that spirit on him, disobedience. He doesn't even want to obey what the instructions given to him by his father. I'm just going to jump to Genesis chapter 36. Verse 1 says, "Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom." All right, and Edom is where Jacob, or where Esau went to dwell. All right, so Esau dwelled in this land of Edom. All right, so these descendants of Esau would be known as Edomites. Verse 2. Verse 2 says, "Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Aholibamath, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zebeon, the Hivite." All right, so you see his disobedience. All right, this is the spirit of the wicked. All right, they want to go against the father. All right, so you can see that Esau would be the progenitor of this red race, these the Edomites. All right, Esau in the Hebrew would be Adawam, which Adawam means red. All right, and that's exactly what Esau was described as he came out of the room, as being red. And so these people are the wicked. So this is that third classification of men. So this, and just to show you that it is this wicked that has the fatness of the earth, that has domination because of them with the use of the blessing that they were giving, which is the sword. I'm just gonna jump to Job chapter 9 and 24. We brought this out before, but to show you that this is a race of people, that this is a wicked people, sons of the wicked. Verse 24 says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" All right, the judges being the Israelites, and that's what he's done. He's gone about this earth conquering and covering up truths. All right, one of the truths would be called a iconoclasm, where they take the original images of the judges of the world, all right, and they put their faces on top of them. You know, that is what iconoclasm is when you covering up the truth and you replace it with a lie and you present it to the world as being the actual history. All right, that's what this wicked people do. All right, and you can see what people are in control of the earth. You can see what people go about war and causing wars, wanting to change different regimes in different countries that they have nothing to do with, wanting to put bases in lands where they don't even dwell, because they simply want to have control, and they can do it through the use of their sword. Or today would be missiles. Today would be guns. You know, their weapons, their tanks. All right, so these would be the sons of the wicked. Going back to Genesis again, because I'm going to begin to wrap this up. I didn't want to make this long. Just wanted to show you these three classifications of men and who they are sons of. All right, Genesis chapter 35. I'm going to go down to verse 10. Verse 10 says, And the Most High said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. All right, so you can see where the Israelites begin to exist, because Jacob would be the progenitor. He would be the father, with his surname being changed to Israel. So he would bring forth 12 sons who would make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. So through this name being changed, we see this bloodline. There's a specific people initially being called the sons of the Most High, or what are known now as the Israelites. The Israelites are the sons of the Most High. That is their father. That's the progenitor of the Israelites, Jacob. All right. I want to just jump into Romans real quick, because I know you're thinking, well, they all came from Abraham, but that doesn't mean that they're all of the same family. I'm going to go to Romans. And I'm going to go right to chapter 9, verse 3 says, For I could wish that myself were accursed from the Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh. And this is Paul speaking, because Paul himself is an Israelite, all right, of the tribe of Benjamin. Verse 4 says, Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises. So this is who the covenant was made with. The covenant was not made with Esau. All right? The covenant was made with Jacob. So having that same father is what makes these men brothers, coming from that same bloodline. Esau had his descendants. He's the progenitor of the Edomites, which are the wicked. Then you have the sons of men, which are the other heathen, all right, the other nations. And you have the sons of Yahweh, which are the Israelites. So coming from the same father is what determines who your brother is. All right. And Salakia for going so long for this, but I wanted this to make sense. And I pray that it has made sense, and I pray that it's been edifying to the listener. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakadash, Shalom.